Welcome to the show, everyone. My name is Jacob, and I'm a sports guy.
And my name is Tim, and I am not a sports guy. Keep telling you. We keep coming back to this. I am not a sports
You think
guy.
they would get it by now. Episode 14. They're still like wondering who's the sports guy, who's not the sports guy.
Hey, but you know what? One step closer every week, you know?
And, we kind of came out with some strong energy, and honestly, strong negative energy towards the fans here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was rude.
It was uncalled for, because, they're probably like, okay, we get it. Jacob's the sports guy. Tim's the non-sports guy. Okay. But every episode, we're going to remind you because, sometimes I'm making some takes. I'm spitting some cold hard facts, and you guys are like, wait a minute, is he the sports guy or is he not the sports guy?
That's true. Sometimes you paint yourself in a light. Like it's very clear that I'm not the sports guy, right? Like I just make.
Well, I don't know. So sometimes you'll have some hot takes. They're like, this guy knows what he's talking about. So maybe he is the sports guy.
We're not really yelling at our, longtime listeners. This is for the first timers, though. Really,
exactly. You're here at episode 14. You could have been here at episode 1.
It's okay though. It's okay. Hey, welcome. We welcome you at any point. Don't go back and listen. Pretty much everything that we've talked about in the past is irrelevant now because we are just rolling with the season.
Exactly.
So
if you want to hear, like, for example, we were doing the podcast when Steph Curry broke the 3-point records. You could go back, listen to our reaction to that. You could go back, listen to when Clay returned.
Can you give them the timestamp for that episode so they don't have to listen to the whole thing?
Maybe not an exact timestamp.
No?
If you gave me a few minutes,
that'll be in the show notes.
No, not at all. I'll let you go through that, and then I'll just kind of sit back. But yeah, we do have some cool episodes though. If you want to, that's one thing that I enjoy. I listen to a few sports podcasts, and sometimes if I go back and listen to them, or if I've missed an extended period of time of listening to them, I'll go back and try to search for an episode that's like, ooh, this was around the time that this happened, so I want to hear their reactions to this. So, like Tim said, we've been following the NBA each week, and we've got some episodes that cover some of the bigger milestones of the season so far, because here we are at the halfway point. This weekend is the All-Star game. Are you excited for the All-Star game, Tim?
Yes, but probably more than the All-Stars game. I'm excited for Saturday because
what's on Saturday?
A lot. It's still All-Stars weekend, right? We've got the 3-point contest. We've got the slam dunk contest.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's what it's officially called. But most importantly, we have the Taco Bell Skills Challenge. We teased it last week. We actually made a joke about it last week. But we actually kind of talked about it behind the scenes, and it's happening.
It is actually
Jacob
happening.
and I, we're going to be watching the Taco Bell Skills Challenge while feasting on Taco Bell tacos.
An absolute feast. Soft tacos, right? You said soft tacos.
Yep.
So we put out a challenge last week. We were going, like Tim said, it was started as a joke. We were just kind of teasing the Taco Bell Skills Challenge was going to be these players attempting to eat as many soft tacos as they could. Well, after some time, some deep thinking on what it could be, what the outcome could be.
I feel like this is not a representation of deep thought, because if we were really truly, is this a good idea? We'd probably steer clear of it. I think we're going to regret it, to be honest.
For sure. But we're going to be doing the Taco Bell Skills Challenge. We're going to get 30 tacos. I know we were talking a big game last week. We were talking 50 tacos. Ooh. We were talking 25 tacos per person. No.
And here's the reality. Nobody should be eating 25 tacos. We probably would have. It had nothing to do with the amount of tacos. It was actually it was too expensive. 50 tacos, way too expensive.
$75.
So we narrowed it down to 30. We can afford 30 tacos. Still far too many for 2 people to consume, but we're doing it. And we want to extend the challenge out to you guys. Maybe don't get that many tacos. If you want it, hey, by all means.
Maybe
but,
they can show us up. Maybe they can say, hey, 25's easy.
Ooh, is that the challenge? Can you beat 15? That's the goal, right? Jacob and I are splitting the 30. We're each going for 15. Can you beat that? If you can, you might win some free merch.
Ooh,
I don't know.
Some free merch. Y'all heard it here first. Don't tell anybody just yet.
And that means that's a little teaser because we hadn't even talked about this yet, but we got merch on the way, guys.
Yes. Speak it
Not a
into
sports guy
existence. That's
merch.
something we do here on the
That's
podcast.
what we do. That is, that's what we're about. Creativity.
So yeah, we're gonna try to eat 15 apiece. That's gonna be a challenge within itself. We may not even hit 15 apiece. We're putting that out there.
Oh, it's funny how we've been talking about this all week. You've been spitting a game. Like, boy, you were prepping this weekend. You said you had 3 tacos. You're like, dude, 3 tacos? I could eat 15. And I was like, I don't know, man. Think about it, how many more that is. But now you're trying to talk yourself up.
Well, see, I'm just trying to be careful going into this challenge because, hey, 15 I feel like is doable. It's definitely doable.
It's doable. It's doable.
You don't think you'll hit 15, right? You think that what?
Well, I don't. Like you said, it is doable. I think I could, but I don't think I will.
Okay.
I don't know that I want to put myself to that. We'll see. I'm going to pace myself. I would like to, but we'll see. I think I could hit 10 and still be okay.
I think you'll
So let's get to 10 and then
I think you'll hit 11.
Do we want to make predictions?
12. Let's do predictions. That's the weekly wager.
All right. So 11 and a half for me.
No,
you think I'm going to get 11 and a half?
This will be the weekly double for the weekly wager. Okay. So let's hold off our predictions for now.
Okay. I like this.
Prediction on this. Okay.
We're betting on ourselves. Wow.
Because
or on
now,
each other, I guess.
If we don't hit the mark, then we could lose some rat bucks here. So,
oh my god,
we've got to throw a wager in. Okay.
Is that legal though to bet on yourself? I don't think so.
Not if
it's okay. Hey, we're making the rules here. We're at the rat casino. The law is out the window. Here.
It's far from being an actual law, especially when we're at the rat casino, like you said. So yes, Saturday, 8 p.m. Taco Bell Skills Challenge. It is going down. And don't forget, the rule is you have to try to eat that amount of tacos, whether it's 15, 25, 50, whatever you go for. You've got to eat it before the actual Taco Bell Skills Challenge is over. So.
And I just plead with anyone out there listening, don't try for 50.
If you do 50, though, we want to see it. I don't know if it's going to happen. But we're going to be putting some content out there on our story on Saturday. So be on the lookout for that. And we may have some more content revolving around the Taco Bell Skills Challenge coming to YouTube. So that could be a little sneak peek. But yeah, so
speaking it into existence.
Exactly.
It's got to happen now.
Speak it into existence. So again,
Jacob's also going to give me $3,000. Speaking it into existence.
Nope.
I felt like that was a reasonable number.
How about how about this? I feel like I'm going to win the lottery, Tim. I'm going to win the lottery. Okay? Speak that into existence, and then I can give you the $3,000. How about that?
Okay, fair enough.
That's fair.
All right.
Welcome to Not a Sports Guy, everybody. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Not a Sports Guy Podcast. We've posted some content there this week. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube and Not a Sports Guy Podcast. There you can also listen to the podcast. Video is still not up yet, but like I said, the Taco Bell Skills Challenge this Saturday, you might get some extra content on our YouTube page.
Some visual.
Yes. If you want to see us put down all the tacos. How about that?
And throw them up.
Nope, not me.
Well, that's not going to be up on there?
That could be part of the wager. But we've got a good show for you guys today. We've got the good, the bad, and the ugly making a return. As always, we've got weekly wager and NBA recap. So let's go ahead and jump into the good, the bad, and the ugly. Welcome to the good, the bad, and the ugly. This was a segment Tim came up with, y'all. We haven't We haven't done it in a little while. So if this is a new segment to you, basically we pick out something from the NBA that is good, something that's bad, and something that is ugly. And being that we're going into the halfway point here of the season, we're going to do some mid-season reactions for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Or as Tim likes to call it, the good, the bad, and the Jacob. So I
I
don't
wasn't going to
accept it.
say it this week.
I don't accept that.
You do because you brought it up this time. I was just gonna leave it alone this time.
I know, but you were thinking
the
it.
the thought did cross my mind.
Exactly.
I was like,
see,
I know when to leave a good joke alone, and you just killed it. So
I didn't
you
hear any
just brought
crickets
it back.
though. I didn't hear any crickets, so maybe it was worth the breath. So Tim, we've got the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're here at the mid-season halfway point here. Tim, I'm gonna let you kick it off here for us. What do you want? You want to go good? You want to go bad? You want to go ugly? Where do you want to go first?
Let's go good.
The good. Okay, we'll kick it off at good.
Let's start off strong.
All right. What I have down for the good, and again, this is the mid-season reaction. So, this is kind of like an overview of the entire first half. For me, the good is the Grizzlies. They are the third 40-win squad. You've got, obviously, the Warriors. You've got the Suns. But no other team is a 40-win team yet other than the Grizzlies. And I don't think anyone at the beginning of the season could have predicted this. Last year, I think they got kicked out at the first round of the playoffs. They beat the Warriors to get in. I think that was last year. They beat the Warriors to get in, and I think they lost first round. Obviously, they were beginning to turn into a playoff contender team last year, but I don't think anyone would have expected going into this season that they would be this good of a team. We're going to talk about the power rankings later on, but they are really high up in the power rankings. Moran is in contention to be MVP. I don't think he's in the top 5 talks right now, but I mean, he's having one of those seasons where you could definitely put him in the conversation. We know that. Go ahead.
What do you think? Well, I'm just curious. Like, why is he not in the top 5 right now? Like, what is holding him back?
And that might be something that we would have to dive into more statistically. I feel like the MVP talk, again, there's not really any set standards for what like an MVP has to do. Like they have to hit this record or that record. But like,
right.
I personally would be putting him higher up into the category of MVP. I know, like I said, I think he's out of the top 5 right now, but I definitely think he could be up. I mean, literally, it's got to be the best player in the league. Is he the best player in the league right now to you?
I don't know that, right? And like you said, there's a lot of statistics that we would need to dive into. But I mean, to pull the Grizzlies as high as he has, really as quickly as he has, because I mean, this is really been over the course of like the past month and a half, you know? So really, even at the beginning of the season, like you said, they didn't start off really expected to be, I've said really a lot of times, but expected to be a contender.
Right.
Whereas like the Suns, the Warriors, well, maybe even the Warriors weren't expected all that much, but I don't know. It's just interesting. And I don't know. You think about, I'm assuming KD is still in the conversations, even though the Nets have sunk, which is irrelevant of him because he wasn't there.
Yeah, I don't know if he's in the top 5 anymore. KD, especially because he's injured. But I will tell you right now that like number 1 in the MVP ladder is Nikola Jokic. The Joker. He is currently number 1. I want to say Giannis is number 2. Or no. Joel Embiid's number 2, then Giannis. And I think Steph is around 4 or 5 right now. I think Chris Paul is also up in the top 5. So if you were to ask me, I think Joel Embiid's probably my number 1 MVP guy right now. I think he's just been absolutely on fire these past few months. Talk about another good from the midseason reaction is Joel Embiid has really carried the 76ers team into a pretty good spot here at the midseason point. But I think as soon as KD comes back, he'll start working his way back up into the MVP talk. Steph hasn't even really been injured this year, and he's dropped from number 1 down to like 5. So that's a real interesting situation there because obviously the Warriors are doing really well. And obviously he broke the 3-point record this year. So I think a lot of people imagined he would be in a better spot running for MVP this year. But back to Ja. I mean, he's an incredible player. I think if he doesn't make it into the top 5 talks this year, I mean, going forward, as long as he can continue this tear that he's on into the next few years and can fight off injuries and continues to make this Grizzlies team better, I think you just get more Ja MVP talk from that. So,
yeah.
And you've loved the Grizzlies this year. You've watched them
Absolutely,
a little bit.
yeah.
I mean, I know we're kind of jumping the gun here, but can you see them like how far do you see them making it in the playoffs this year? Like, can you see them making a finals run?
I don't know. That's a tough question because I guess ultimately it's a team from the East versus a team from the West, right?
Mhm.
I don't know that I see them being able to beat the Suns out. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be a tough beat there, especially because
Yeah.
of how good the Suns have been. And I mean, gosh, this league is just really good this year. You know, I really love the different contenders that they have. I will like to say this, though. I'm on a website called commercialappeal.com. They
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. They came out with an article.
Yet.
No, because you want to listen to this prediction that they gave for the Grizzlies, and we
Oh.
may not even want them as a sponsor. They made a prediction in October of last year that they do have higher expectations for the Grizzlies after making the NBA playoffs, but it doesn't seem like they thought that the team would be that great. They have little doubt. Or wait, it says there's little doubt Morant will contend for an all-star spot if he takes the third-year leap many expect. So let's take a step further. Not only will Morant be the Grizzlies' first all-star since Marc Gasol in 2017, he will finish the season with a shot at an all-NBA team. So I actually read that incorrectly. I thought they were saying that they highly doubted that he would make the all-star team, and I was about to say they are insane. But look, Ja ended up being a starter for the All-Star game this year, so I think they've definitely predicted that right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's jump into the bad. Tim.
Boom, boom. That kind of sounded like a little drop. It was just your mic. Just a little glitch in the mic. I liked it, though. Keep it in. Boom, boom.
The bad.
Kind of fitting, too.
I tried to do it again there. Sorry, it didn't work.
One more time.
The bad.
There you go. God, that sounds so cool, man. Wow, I can make our own music with little defects in our products here. The Nets. Yeah, I don't really want to talk about them, but we will.
We got to.
Look, I've got my hat on.
Very true.
Still showing the love.
Got to support.
Yeah, well, look, it's no shock, and I've recanted my hatred towards KD.
You have.
Never hated him, but I had some concerns, but clearly they need him. But I will say, there was, the trade deadline was last week. They made some pretty big moves, and the Nets have actually been doing all right. They've won a couple of games. So, yes, they've been doing bad. What was it, 11-game losing streak, I believe?
It was around there, yeah.
somewhere in that area. But they've won the last couple. So I think while it has been bad, dare I say, has been ugly. I think we're on a turnaround. I know we just Wednesday night we pulled out another dub, and something this is not a conversation for the bad, really, but I've been wanting to say this actually for a while. But with Cam Thomas, he's somebody that I've had my eye on really since we've dove into I can never say this. Since we dove into the Nets. He's a rookie this year, I believe, and there's not a lot of conversation around him, but I really like watching him play. He is not out here he's not, and this is maybe a hot take for me because he's not really flashy, right?
Okay.
he seems to have his head on his shoulders, and he is out here to play fundamental basketball. But he plays so well. Like, he doesn't really turn the ball over. He doesn't even really miss shots that much.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't looked at the stats, but when he's out there, like, if he gets the ball, he's smart with it. I've really enjoyed watching him play. And you may not know this, maybe you do, but on Wednesday night's game against the Knicks, he actually was the leading scorer.
Oh, wow.
I was really happy to see that. I was really, really proud of, to like call myself a Nets fan for that reason. I'm really just like Cam Thomas fan. Like, that was really cool. So I just wanted to like take a little plug kind of away from the bad conversation
All
here.
right.
But I've been wanting to say that. I just didn't know how to squeeze that in. But anyways, let's talk about why they're in the bad category.
Well, Tim, you make a great argument for the Nets turning it around here in the second half. Again, this is a midseason reaction. The last week going into the All-Star break, the Nets have turned it around. They who did they defeat? They defeated the Knicks, and who else did they beat? They beat one other team. I can't remember exactly who it was. I think it was the Kings. They beat the Kings.
It was the Kings,
and
yes.
that was the first game with Seth Curry, first game with Andre Drummond. And so I imagine going into this final week before the All-Star break, they get James Harden out of the organization. They bring in 3 new faces. Ben Simmons, even though he's not playing, he's been at the shoot-arounds. He was at the arena, was at the game with KD. KD's there as well. I just think there is, I mean, honestly, fresh faces. They've got, I can only imagine what was going on in the locker room prior to the James Harden trade, because I think there were just such high expectations for this team, for the 3, the big 3, KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. I think there were such high expectations that they couldn't live up to because there was always one of them injured. It was either KD was injured, Kyrie was out for whatever reason. Even James Harden has struggled with injuries here and there. And I also saw a fun fact. While they were all there together, and this was over last season as well, the big 3 only played 16 games together in entirety.
Wow.
And I think they went 13-3, which is pretty solid. But I don't think they could keep all 3 on the court at the same time for very long.
Right. Well, and I'm assuming they constructed this team because, I mean, let's face it, a majority of that is not, I'm not going to say it's Kyrie's fault, but it's been Kyrie's situation, right?
Right.
But I'm assuming they constructed the team prior to knowing that this was going to be, the deal, right?
Right.
So, I mean, like we said last week, I hate to see
James
Harden go, but I think it is for the best. Like, I'm excited to see. I think they've been on a terrible stretch, right? Like they should be a contender right now. They certainly don't look like they're a contender for the finals, but I don't think they're going to be in the bad category for too much longer.
I hope not.
I'm hopeful.
I'm hopeful as well. I think bringing in the new faces like Ben Simmons and Curry and Drummond, I hope that this can turn this team's morale around. I think that's the biggest thing. We've talked about how the chemistry wasn't there for a long time, and now that Harden's out, and I think with Ben Simmons coming in, when Kyrie's available to play with him, and when KD comes back, I think there's going to be more defined roles there on the team, and I think that this will only benefit the Nets as long as Ben Simmons can play better offensively and mentally he is in a better place. I think we can get a really good Nets
but
team.
Even Steve Nash has come out and said he doesn't even care if Ben Simmons can shoot the ball. He said there's just so much more that Ben Simmons offers. So I don't even know if they need him to play it. I mean, I guess that's kind of Steve Nash knows the game far better than I do.
Right. That's very
sounds
true.
like the goal of the game is to score points. So like to me, on face value, could sound a little like, well, what are you talking about,
right,
Coach Nash? But
at the same time, they've got KD, and like you've mentioned in the past, the offense ran around getting KD the ball so KD can shoot.
Yeah,
and so if Ben Simmons can get him the ball and he can shoot, and Ben Simmons can take his shots when he's available. I think a lot of things I've read is that Ben Simmons is a great defender. So Ben Simmons will be able to add to the Nets defense. Same thing with Curry. Curry is also a wonderful shooter. They add a big man in Drummond. I think besides that, the only real big men they had were LaMarcus Aldridge and Nick Claxton. But other than that, I don't think they had many big men. So adding a veteran big man,
Blake Griffin, come on now,
but he's
give my
not
boy some
that
love.
big. He's not like a center big,
No, he's not.
So I'm excited for the Nets. They are in the bad because they're 8th in the East. They started the year like top 5 in the league, and now they've dropped to 8th.
Leading the East for a long time.
They were, and now they've dropped all the way to 8th in the East. So that's why they were in the bad. Hopefully they can turn around the second half, but they've really made a big drop here from where they started. So hopefully in the next year, or not next year, in the next half of the season, they can turn it around. But let's move on. The ugly. I think anyone could have predicted this. It's the Lakers, man. They are in just such a weird spot. I don't know what to say about. I mean, Tim, what is your take on the Lakers? Why are they in the ugly?
We've talked about it before. I mean, somebody's similar, I guess, to the Nets, but somebody's always injured with the Lakers. I mean, and it's, what do you expect? You've got the oldest team in the league, right. I mean, it stinks. You've got somebody like LeBron, who is, arguably the face of the NBA, and has been for a long time. But I don't know. I mean, he's doing well, or as well as he can do. But
there's been a bunch of controversy in that organization because, obviously, like you said, the injuries are a big factor. AD's out for a little bit. Then LeBron's injured for a few games. And like you said, they're the oldest team in the league, but they've also got some chemistry issues that we continuously talk about. They brought in Russell Westbrook, and he just doesn't seem to be like he's a good fit for the Lakers. Even to the point where the coach has benched Westbrook in the final few minutes of a game that's like close, just because he's just not fitting well when it comes down to the final few minutes, and like he could potentially cost the team the game. So I think that they've got to figure something out. They didn't make any moves in the trade deadline. A lot of people expected them to maybe trade Westbrook out, bring in somebody else. But apparently that's not what they want to do. They want to continue to push with this team. And who knows? There's still a lot of basketball left. If they finish off this second half with a great record, then they could potentially fight for the playoffs. But right now, they're top 20 in the league. And I hate to say it, but I think a lot of people expected this. A lot of people didn't think that Westbrook was going to fit well with the Lakers. I'm not a type of person that, I'm not the type of person, I should say, that hates on the Lakers, that hates on LeBron. I want them to succeed. I love watching LeBron succeed. It's just, again, I've brought this up plenty of times, but it's just seeing one of the greats succeed, and while you're watching, is just such a fun thing. So I think it's better when LeBron's winning in the league, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, you have any closing words for the good, the bad, and the ugly?
Nope. I agree with it all.
All right. We all heard it here first. That was our good.
I would like to point out that there's one thing we forgot to mention in the ugly section, and that's your hat.
Clarissa even said something about the beanie before I wore it onto the podcast. She was like,
"Look, you talk a big hat game to me.
I do have a big hat game.
Okay, but then why the beanie?
Because
why the beanie?
The beanie,
I don't know.
It was comfortable. It was chill. What else can I say?
Are your ears cold?
No, they're not. Okay, because I've got a beanie on now.
Oh, because you got the beanie on.
Exactly.
There you go.
And if you want to see the beanie, make sure you go to Instagram, TikTok. You will see the beanie in one of our clips that we post. So, and then there's Tim smiling. Alrighty, let's go ahead, take a quick break.
Are we going to make this a whole little clip? Okay.
No, we're not. We're not making this a clip. We've got to take a break, Tim.
Oh.
Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. This is the second half, okay? We've still got Weekly Wager. We still have NBA Recap. So hopefully you're still with us. Hopefully you enjoyed the good, bad, and the ugly. I really love that segment, Tim. I like it. Do you like it?
Sometimes it's good.
Sometimes it's
Sometimes
bad.
it's bad.
Sometimes it's ugly.
No, I like it. Of course I like it.
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
But as always, we still have the Weekly Wager to go. And we had probably one of our most exciting weeks of bets here because there were some dubs, there were some L's. We did our first parlay. What did you think of last week's wager, Tim?
I mean, I'm still not doing great. I took home some money, so I guess I can't complain too much. But it's hard for me, man, because prior to getting into like true, authentic sports gambling, and when we were just kind of doing, I was killing.
You were 7-0,
just like really, and I guess what we were doing prior to what we're doing now was really just more kind of predictions, but we weren't really investing. Now that I'm investing, I think my mindset's just way off.
Exactly. It's a little intimidating, I must add. So
it is, yeah.
So let's get into it, Tim. Let's get into it's the weekly wager.
Sorry, cut you off again there.
Was
classic
Tim. Cut me off with the drop. I just love it because then you hear the drop go and then you hear yourself like cackling in the background. Like,
well, I figured you were going to edit that out.
No, but, I'm leaving that in.
Now you got to.
Now I got to. Alrighty, y'all. We started the week.
Yo.
Tim had 1,050 rat bucks. I had 2,150 rat bucks. Let me.
How many?
I had 2,150 to start.
I don't know why, but I didn't realize you had literally twice as many as me. Wow.
Oh yeah.
That's painful.
And just so if anyone's new to the podcast or maybe you haven't listened in a few weeks, the reason we're talking about rat bucks and rat dollars and whatever it is, a few weeks ago we brought on a sports betting expert, as you know,
a fiend.
I like to call him the expert. Okay, he's
humble
about it. But he basically came on the podcast, taught us a little bit about sports betting.
Wait, who's he? What's his name?
The Rat.
The Rat.
That's his name.
It's Rat Bucks.
He's the Rat.
Anyways, continue.
And yeah, so that's why we call it Rat Bucks. He kind of took over the weekly wager segment, being that he was teaching us about sports betting. So now every week he'll send us either some wagers or he'll come on the show and give us our wagers live on the podcast. And he opened up his so-called Rat Casino, and that's kind of where we're gambling. That's where we're kind of doing our sports betting, is under his Rat Casino.
Because we're doing it legally. We took it to the casino. I don't want to be dealing under the table.
Exactly. That's not legal, like Tim said. So we're doing this all legally. So he kind of started his own money, his own currency. He calls it the Rat Buck, the Rat Dollar. We call it it's a cryptocurrency to us.
Effectively,
so that's kind of what we're gambling around here with. So last week's wager, we had a few games, and then we did our first parlay ever. The first game that we bet on, Nets versus Heat. This was obviously right after the James Harden, Ben Simmons trade.
I just want to say that I was misled by the Rat himself because I was leaning towards the Heat. And then he mentioned that he was under the impression that Ben Simmons would be playing.
Right.
Ben Simmons did not play that game. Now, we did have Seth Curry.
They didn't even play either.
No, they weren't even playing that game. Oh, wow.
That was my thinking. I was like, the trade just went down on that Thursday. So by that Saturday, there's no way that Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and especially Ben Simmons, were going to be playing already. And I was right. None of them were playing yet. And that's why I bet so heavily on the Heat. I bet 400.
Yeah.
Tim, I think you originally went Heat, and then you changed to the Nets.
I did.
And bet
I'm
300.
setting a mousetrap right now because I was lied to.
Set it. I want to hear the little click.
Come back. Rat.
So
lied to me.
Tim bet 300 on the Nets. He obviously lost that one. I won. Next game was Hawks versus Celtics. Tim, you went Celtics for 300. Again, you went against the Hawks, and you won this time though.
I did. Yeah, I didn't want to, but yeah, it was home for the Celtics.
Yep. Not much more than that. They're doing better right now than the Hawks, so it's an easy kind of bet. But I had a heart bet here. I went Hawks again for 100 though, and I lost that one. Tim won that one. He bet 300 on the Celtics. And then our last game of the week was going to be Hornets versus Timberwolves. And we both went Timberwolves because it was at Timberwolves. And you said you kind of watched some of that game, or you kept up with the game throughout the night, correct?
Until the end.
Until the end.
Follow up with the final score. But you told me about it. You told me that the Timberwolves took the dub.
In overtime, I might add. And I
did not know that.
And I will add that while I was putting our show doc together last night, I checked the score, and the Hornets were actually up by like 7 with like 5 or 6 minutes to go in the fourth. And I was like, dang it, I'm going to lose this wager. And then they end up tying it by the end of the game and then taking the dub in overtime. So we could have lost more money last night, but we didn't. Instead, we both took the dub on that one. Timberwolves, Tim, you bet 300 on that one. I bet 50 on that one. And then we go into our parlay. Basically, if you're not sure what the parlay is, it's a string of multiple bets. But if one of those bets misses and you lose that one, then the entire bet itself is considered a loss. So this week we bet 3 games. Like I said, Nets Heat, Hawks Celtics, and Hornets Timberwolves. And our parlay was to guess the winner of each game. So for us to win the parlay and guess it correctly, we had to guess all of those games correctly. But if we picked one of those games that ended up being wrong, then the entire bet is counted as a loss. So, Tim, you went with your same teams. You said Nets, Celtics, but you switched it up at the end. Instead of going Timberwolves, you went Hornets. And then I did the same exact slate. I did Heat, Hawks, Timberwolves. And you bet 150. I bet 100. We both lost that one. But as we've spoken about the past few weeks, we both have some free bets. I think this is my first free bet that I've had to use. I have 2 of them.
Okay.
Tim has 7 of them. You have used that's
7.
very true. I think you've used 2, correct? And then
this
will be your third. So basically, the free bet means that our lowest wager that we lost on doesn't count as a loss. It just basically gets canceled out. So Tim's 150 on his parlay canceled out as a free bet, and then my 100 that I bet on the Hawks cancels out. So that means, Tim, you went from 1,050 in your bankroll all the way up to 1,350. And then I went from 2,150 in my bankroll all the way up to 2,500. So that's where we stand today. How do you feel looking at those numbers?
I feel disappointed, but I'm just trying to think practically. I walked away with more money than I had at the beginning, so it's okay. I'm a competitive person, and I just know that I have less money than you, and that is what's bugging me.
So you're trying to make up for that now. So it's not going to be until I either go under you or you bet high enough to go above me. All right. Well, this week could be the week for you, Tim. We've got a few bets here going on. We're not only betting on the All-Star game, because we talked about the All-Star game last week. We talked about who we thought was going to win the game. This week, we're taking all of these All-Star games, the 3-point contest, the Taco Bell skill challenge, the slam dunk contest, and then the actual All-Star game. We're going to place our wagers on these games, okay? So let's just start off plain and simple. Who do you have winning the All-Star game, and how much are you wagering?
I gotta, as much as I don't really want to, I've got to go with LeBron's team winning the game.
Yeah, I mean he's got a stacked roster.
Yeah, no shade on LeBron, but no shade just being because I said I didn't want him to. But I'm just more of a fan of the players on KD's half of the court. But yeah, like you said, LeBron's squad is just to me it feels like a no-brainer. Maybe I'm wrong, but
well, put your money where your mouth is.
Oh gosh, okay.
Team LeBron taking the dub for
500.
Oh, 500. Oh my gosh, your biggest bet yet. So you're at 1350 right now.
Yep.
Wow. If you
and I'm
this,
primarily doing this right, but the rest of the games, like, it's a hope and a prayer. I don't know. And
so this one you're going to try to make up for the losses that you may take in the other games.
Right. And then I'm not going to bet big on these other ones because I don't know.
Wow. So if you win this, though, you go up to 22 or no, because it's not 50. You'll go up to 2150. If you wait, no, I'm not. I was thinking you bet 800 there for a second.
We need the rat back. I'm going to disarm the rat trap here because your math is way off.
I'm sorry.
It would be 1850.
We were talking 1350. Yeah, I was thinking if you lost that wager, you'd go down to 850. So then whenever I said if you would win, I added.
You don't have to explain it. It's fine. Gosh. Let's just move on.
So
I want to win. That's all that matters. What are you betting?
I'm going Team Durant. And I don't
really. Yeah. Is this just a heart bet?
No, not a heart bet.
You really think? Okay.
I don't know if I really think. I just feel like everyone looked at the roster that LeBron put together, including me, and thought, man, this is stacked. And it is stacked. But like we both mentioned last week as well, is that no one really competes in the All-Star game. It's all about who can have the coolest moves, the biggest dunk, all that stuff. So there's not a real competition here.
I don't need you carrying on, casting doubt on my wager.
I just think
just say your piece.
KD's got the younger team. There's going to be some exciting moves that these younger guys are going to be putting on.
I don't think age matters. I mean, let's look at the Lakers.
Nothing matters when it comes to this All-Star game.
I was making a joke.
I'm going Team Durant just for the heck of it because I think they could maybe pull something out, maybe put in some more effort than the old heads over with LeBron. I'm going Team Durant. Give me 200, okay? I'll go Team Durant for 200.
You got me second guessing. And I was thinking as we were having this conversation, because I couldn't remember where is my boy John Morant playing, and it's on Durant's team. And I feel like I have a feeling he is going to be kind of like he's going to be the motivator on his team. Like I think he's going to be the one who makes the biggest splash.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, I agree.
And it kind of makes me want to.
Nope. No, I mean,
oh really?
I guess the rat's not here, so he can't. But he said last week, as soon as
he said we can't move to the next bet, we can't lock in. But he's let me change it before.
So would you go with Team Durant for 500?
Oh man.
I mean, I don't want you to stress too hard or think too hard on this because literally. They're not going to be playing basketball. Game. Like it's going to be like Harlem Globetrotter basketball out there. I guarantee.
Yeah.
So, and that's another reason why I was surprised at your 500 because it's almost like there's no telling what could happen.
It's anybody's game.
It's like if it was
trying to talk me out of my amount as well.
Listen, I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be because I think you. But the other thing is, you could win big here. So I don't know. I'm leaving it up to you. I will not say anything else. But I need a final wager from you right now.
I'm just going to keep it as is. I don't want to, but I'm going to.
All right. All right. Next up, we're going to do the 3-point challenge, the Mountain Dew 3-point challenge. And if we forgot to mention it earlier, we're going to have Mountain Dew on Saturday as well. We're going to have Mountain Dew in the house as we're doing the challenge as well.
Important announcement here.
Yes. So
sponsored by
exactly
Mountain Dew and Taco Bell.
Taco Bell and
AT&T actually.
What's the slam dunk contest?
No?
Is that AT&T? Is that the
Yeah.
AT&T slam dunk? Okay. All right, Tim. So we're moving on to the 3-point contest. I will go first since you went first last time. We've got a great group of guys here. We've got 8 shooters going into it. I gotta stick with my boy. I gotta stick.
So how are we doing this? Right. So this is, if you win 8 times the amount that you bet.
But if you lose, you just lose the original amount. So let's say if I bet 100 and I win, Trae Young wins, I get 800 points. But if Trae Young loses, then I just lose my regular 100. So this is actually a pretty dang big, God bless, a pretty big dang bet is what I meant to try to say. So again, this is another thing. I mean, Trae Young's good at shooting threes, but is he good enough under the pressure of shooting multiple threes from different spots around the court? I mean, I can't not go Trae Young. So I'm going Trae Young. Give me 200. So if I win, give me 1,000, baby.
Okay.
Wait, that's not right. That is not right. Give me 1,600. That's 2, 4, 6, 14, 1,600. Give me 200. And don't let me do math again on the podcast. All right, so who do you got going for it? I mean, if you want Trae, you can take Trae.
Yeah, no, I know. I don't. You don't have to explain to me. You don't have dibs on Trae. I feel like this could be anybody's game. Literally. I mean, like you said, Trae Young probably has the best statistically, likelihood, just based on points, 3 points per game. But it's a different style of gameplay,
Very true.
But similar to you, Hawks are your team.
So
you're putting your faith in Trae, and I'm gonna do the same thing with my boy Patty Mills.
Man,
I've had my frustrations with the Nets, but I've always been rooting for Patty.
Patty Mills is gonna come in and win the 3-point contest. How much money are you willing to wager?
Just to keep up with you, I'm going to.
Ooh, okay. All right. 200 on Patty Mills. I respect it. Patty Mills is a good 3-point shooter. Does he have what it takes, though? Does he have what it takes?
He's been historically a great 3-pointer, 3-point shooter for the for his career, and this year has been the best so far. So,
all right, we'll carry it into this then. All right, next up we got the slam dunk contest. Now, Tim, last week you were saying you didn't recognize any of these players. So,
nope.
So what do you think here then? You're going in kind of blind.
Yep.
This may be a low bet for you. Again, there are 4 athletes going up against one another for the slam dunk contest. So that means whatever we wager, if our player wins that we vote for, then it'll be multiplied by 4. So, Tim, who do you have going into the slam dunk contest?
Can you just pick for me? I don't even know where to go.
I can't. So maybe this is where you bet low, Maybe you don't bet as much on this one.
All right. I'm going Jalen Green because green is my favorite color. I'm gonna stick with 200. I'm gonna 200 across the board for these games.
Okay.
With just the hope that that's where my my free bet's gonna carry me. So
I'm also going Jalen Green. I'm putting down 500.
you got a lot of money. You got a lot in your bankroll to kind of play with. So
I want Jalen
yeah,
Green. Give me
if you cash out on
500.
that, my goodness.
And I'll let
All
you
right.
do the math on this one. Multiply that times 4.
That is 2,000. Good job.
Alrighty. So Jalen Green, 500. I'm happy. I'm happy with that personally.
You feel confident. So you're more familiar with these players. Do you feel like that's a pretty good?
Yeah, and again, me and Tim are casual viewers, so we're not. I mean, I think really the only competition that Jalen Green has is Obi Toppin. I may be completely wrong, but I just don't see Cole Anthony or Juan Toscano Anderson really being that much.
Hey, as long as
What? What? You just stop and you start giggling?
as long as Obi doesn't have the high ground.
We're going to move into the NBA recap. That's actually going to be it for the weekly wager. Listen, y'all. Play along with us. Cast in your votes. Do the weekly wager with your friends.
We have more to go. What do you? Don't cut it off now.
I forgot. We've got Jesus. You really threw me off with that, Tim. Oh my gosh. We still have to bet on the Taco Bell Skills Challenge. So
both Taco Bell Skills Challenge.
Very true.
Don't forget.
Very true. There are 2 different Taco Bell Skills Challenges going on. All right. So Taco Bell Skill Challenge, we have 3 different teams competing. We've got the Antetokounmpos, we've got the Rooks, and we've got the Cavs. I have come out in the previous podcast and said that I thought the Rooks were going to take it. I think you said that you thought the Cavs were going to take it. Am I correct with that?
Did I? I don't even know.
I honestly don't remember.
Oh, that's right. Yes, because of the team chemistry. That's right.
Yes. There you go. So again, 3 teams. So whatever we have bet, if we actually predict it correctly, then it is multiplied by 3. So Tim, wait, do you want me to go first on this one? Because you went first.
No, I can go start first. No, it's fine. I'm going to stick with the Cavs.
All
sure.
right.
Why not? Stick with the Cavs, 200.
All right, there you go. I mean, just throwing it down. I guess I'm going to stick with my bet. I think the Rooks, I think they're young guns. I think that they're going to be excited to be playing in something like this. I think maybe some of the vets may not, take it as seriously as these rookies might. And I just like the rookies. I like the choice here. I like the players that they've got. I'm going to go with the Rooks. I'm going to go, let me look at my other bets. I've got 200. I'll go the Rooks 200. All right. I'm just saying this right now. We might come back next week and our bankrolls may be they're going to be completely different than what they looked like this week.
Woo!
We both may be down at the very bottom of the leaderboard when it comes to the bankroll. And one of us may be just completely rich next week. We'll have to see. But I think this is really fun, and I think that we'll have a good time with it. So, Tim, the last thing that we have to bet on is our Taco Bell Skills Challenge. So, how many tacos do you think that you're going to eat?
Well, I know I kind of talked about at the beginning of the episode that 15 is a lot, right? And I don't know that I would even put myself through that. But if I put money on myself, I'm going to feel more inclined. So I'm want to, the more money I bet, actually, the more likely I may eat the tacos. But do I want to put myself through that? I don't know. Well,
I'm almost willing to go all in that I'm going to eat all 15.
All in. What do you have left?
I don't know. But see, so that's the thing. I don't know how much I have left.
If you go all in, I'll go all in. I think I have 250 left.
So that means if you win this, you earn 250?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me look and see how much I have. So I'm at 2,500. That's, let's say I lose All-Star game. That's 200. So that's 2, 4, 9, 11. Was an inside job. So I have 1,100. So that takes me down to 1,400. Would I bet 1,400 that I'm going to eat
easy.
15 tacos?
Easy. If I had,
so you're only betting
bet,
250.
If yeah, it's a little. I've got a little bit more freedom, but yeah, if I was putting $1,400 on myself, I would absolutely force myself to eat it. Now, here's the kicker: we can't throw it up throughout the course of the whole evening.
Oh, the course of the whole evening. So even after the event's over,
we are going to shut off the cameras after like whatever time the event ends, probably like 10 o'clock. So
15 tacos, dude.
You can do that. Put your $1,400.
I'm all in. I'm eating 15 tacos, baby.
Better not throw up.
Oh my gosh! So I put down 1,400. So
That's
you put 250.
You have that much. I mean, you could bomb every other freaking.
Exactly. I mean, you're right. Absolutely right. All right, y'all. Well, that is going to be the weekly wager. We hope you enjoyed it. Tim, let's do it. Let's go ahead and jump into the NBA recap. Who's there? I thought Josh Giddey was making an appearance there. I thought that he was.
I don't see him. I heard him.
I heard the thunder. Listen, y'all.
We're
going to kind of jump in.
Coming up high, or was it
down low? No,
down under. Down under.
I'm again
move on.
Another joke right over my head. Ben Simmons hopes to be on the floor by the March 10th matchup against the 76ers.
So is that is that what he's like aiming for to be his debut, or does he just say definitely by the 10th I'll be out there, but maybe before?
Well, I don't even think he's saying he's definitely going to be out there by then. I think he's just saying he hopes to be on the floor by that matchup. I would surely that wouldn't be his first game back. Like he wants to be in good physical health by the time he gets to that game, like he would probably want to have a few games under his belt before he jumps right into that. Tim, what are you doing? You're making all these faces. You're sticking your
No one would have ever known that.
But I had to put you on blast.
You did.
So what do you think? You think he's going to be able to make it by the March 10th date?
Oh Lord, I have no idea.
It's not even like he's coming back from an injury.
It's not. Yeah, it's not a physical thing, right? It's a mental thing. So I don't know what he's going through. I don't know where he's at. I don't know what it's going to take to get him to where he needs to be. I would assume. I mean, we've seen him warming up. We've heard that he's jiving well with the Nets in the break room. So I mean, the probably the break room too. But I was talking about the locker room. But yeah, who knows? He's probably grabbing lunch with some of the other guys.
Some of the players. He said, I can quote, physically, over the last 6 months, I've been working, so I feel physically pretty good. Mentally, I'm getting there. It's an ongoing thing to stay on top of that, but I think I'm headed in the right direction. So like you said, it's all mental. He's just trying to mentally prepare himself to come back to the NBA. Harden to make his 76ers debut on February 25th at the Timberwolves. I would like to say that he's had a hamstring injury. He's out. He didn't play the rest of the games leading up to the All-Star break. He's not competing in the All-Star game. He was actually subbed out for Jarrett Allen, which is another piece of news that I'd like to cover because Jarrett Allen deserves it. Tim, you really like Jarrett Allen. You've been vocal about that. Just you enjoy watching his afro as he's dunking the ball. So,
well, it's his afro and the facial expressions he makes. He just he always looks like.
Yeah, he's kind of just like, this dude really just tried me. Like,
God, what? I love it. I love it so much.
But yeah, so Harden's going to make his debut on February 25th. He is quoted saying, "I just knew for a very long time this was a perfect fit." He said, "It's an opportunity of a lifetime." And I was actually reading about this, and apparently the Nets weren't his first choice when he was traded to the Nets. Apparently he wanted to go to the 76ers
Wow.
last year.
So, and this may be a question for another day, but whether in this experience or just in general, would he have like kind of had a role in this, or was it more just kind of it happened to fall in his lap? Like, did the 76ers pursue him, or is there a chance that he was kind of like talking? Does that make sense?
No, yeah, I think there's probably a little bit of both there. I mean, obviously Harden's going to be talking to his agent, letting his agent know I'm
Okay.
not happy with the Nets, or I am happy with where I'm at, or maybe his agent comes to him and says, "Hey, 76ers are interested in you." Maybe even the team is having talks behind his back. Who knows? There could be so many different things going on when it comes to these trades. But like, I think it's pretty public now that he didn't like the Nets weren't his first choice. I think he's been wanting to go to the 76ers. Now he's there. They're going to make a run for the finals here. I think the 76ers team is going to be nasty. I mean, they're already super good right now without Ben Simmons. Obviously, you're taking out Seth Curry and Andre Drummond, but you're adding Harden. I don't know, man. I think this 76ers team is going to be pretty good, but I
But
feel like
I
Harden
would
has this like
argue, well, yeah, I want you to kind of dive into that because yeah, we're getting Harden, who is arguably like a bigger star,
right.
but he does not fill the void that someone like specifically Drummond, I'm thinking, because he's kind of a big man. He's a rebounder. He's a post man. Harden can obviously throw up some points, so he can somewhat replace Seth Curry's position, maybe. Probably
Right.
doesn't shoot quite as well as him. But I mean, like, yes, he's great, but will he fill the void? I mean, I don't know. Like, how dependent were they on those two players? Anyways, I don't know enough about the
Yeah.
76ers to say that, but
I don't even know if Drummond was a starter for them. He may have been.
okay.
Drummond's kind of been a floater the last few seasons. He used to be like an elite big man in the league. I think he's definitely kind of taken a, more of a bench player role. Maybe I don't know. I think he's definitely good enough to be in a starting lineup. I don't know if he's good enough to be like an elite big man anymore. So they're definitely not bringing Harden in to kind of replace that. But
Hmm.
don't forget, they did get Paul Millsap. Not to say that Paul Millsap's going to be any sort of, replacement for Drummond, but maybe he can kind of fill a bigger man role.
Yeah.
They've got Joel Embiid. They've got a big man. They don't need really anybody else because he's putting in 30 plus minutes a game, 35 plus minutes a game, anyways.
Yeah.
But they definitely need, and I don't think Paul Millsap's definitely not going to be playing that center role that would be replacing Drummond. But like you said, Seth Curry, he's out. But when you have Harden, and I've always said he's more of a shoot first player, but I'm
Hmm.
kind of wrong on that because he's usually was leading the team in assists every night. But I think his shooting ability, he'll be able to shoot more here at the 76ers.
Hmm.
So I think they're going to have a good team. But I was going to say, Harden seems to always have this like dark cloud above him wherever he goes. Like he went to the Rockets, wasn't successful there, wasn't really successful at the Thunder, went to the Nets, was almost successful. They almost made a run in the finals last year, but the freaking Bucks took them out. So, or no, wait, how did they lose last year? I don't remember, but because I remember maybe oh yeah, the Bucks did take him out. But I'm just saying, like, I just think he has this cloud over him. I hope to see the 76ers be successful. Uh, but at the same time, who knows what could happen. Um, let's go ahead. Let's wrap up the show. Really, there wasn't much more that happened this week in the NBA. Like I said, we've covered most of this Ben Simmons, Harden, uh, stuff, but really to kind of end off the night, I'd like to throw in there. I know we talked about the Lakers and the ugly earlier, but I will also like to add that AD had a ankle injury tonight where they had to bring out the stretcher. And he's already getting x-rays on his ankle. So who knows what could be happening there. Again, we've talked about it earlier in the show. The Lakers have to stay healthy. AD, this is the second time this season that he's had to leave. I mean, if they're bringing out a stretcher onto the court, it's not looking good. So I'm really kind of scared for the Lakers.
How many people do you think had to carry that stretcher out? I mean, AD is a big boy.
They probably had to get a extra large stretcher to get him out of there.
Probably one that rolls though, right? Like I don't know why I'm thinking
sure.
like this is like old school. There's like 6 people out there huddling. Stupid question. I'm so sorry.
But man. Anyways, thank you to everyone for tuning in for another week of the Not a Sports Guy podcast, episode 14. So we're on our way to 20. Make sure you're following us on Instagram at Not a Sports Guy podcast and on TikTok as well. Make sure you are subscribed to us on YouTube at Not a Sports Guy.
Where can they email us?
Ooh, you've got me this week? No. They can email us at notasportsguypodcast@gmail.com. And as always, we've got a listener of the week. Our listener of the week is G Money Banks, a.k.a. Seth Banks. Thank you so much for the follow this week on Instagram. We appreciate everyone's support. If you want to be listener of the week, make sure you give us a follow. Make sure you comment on something. Just show us that you're keeping up with us and supporting us one way or the other. So
that's right. Shout
out to Seth Banks this week. And as always, see ya.
Bye.
Deuces.
What was that?
I just said deuces.
Deuces.
You want to do it?
About to drop a deuce.
That was weak.